Hello, everybody. This is Nick Totero, Professor of Information Technology and Computer Science, Lakeland Community College, and CAE mentor and peer reviewer. All right, let's think about the application and the different pieces, parts that are associated with it. And we're going to look at each individual part in this series of videos. As you probably are aware, as you did that 10,000 foot view of the application, there's 4 main parts, and we're going to go through each of those, and each one of those parts of the application has subparts to it, and we're going to go through all of those. So I think the best thing to do is just go up to my screen and let's take a look at the general application, and let's just start diving into it, and I'm going to give you some helpful tips. Before we get started, I personally ran into a problem, and I've known some of my mentees and the people I peer reviewed ran into a similar problem. And I'm going to tell you, be careful of your browser. First of all, turn off your autofill on your browser. That caused a lot of mischief in my application, and I never saw it. When I hit the submit, I didn't see it. All of a sudden, one of the peer reviewers says, you have all this kind of weird stuff. I will show you the RFI request for information. And it was a question of the autofill on my browser. I recommend, personal recommendation, I like the DuckDuckGo browser, and I even like Google Chrome, and I turn off the autofill on those so I don't get those. So I encourage you to do that. So let's go up to my screen. All right, we are going to be looking at my application, the second one for our second POS. You're going to see what I put in there. I'm going to explain the information, anything that's going to be maybe private. I'm not going to show you, but there's really nothing really private in there, which is important when it comes time for like your redacting syllabus. Redact them so people can't determine, that particularly private information. As I mentioned, as you're probably aware, there's 4 sections: the POS curriculum, the student, faculty, and continuous improvement. Let's take a look at actually 1A, the cybersecurity POS offered by this institution. Again, each video is going to examine just one element of this application. So instead of having a 2-hour video, it's going to be a bunch of smaller videos and you can view. So let's take a view. And you can see when I submitted this, there was an RFI. I did respond to it. So let's take a quick view. Oops. And start with the official name. This is the name of your concentration. Ours is an Associate of Applied Business Cybersecurity concentration. This is what's going to go on your certificate. This is how it's going to be known if you were to read these particular bullet points. So know what you're writing. Don't abbreviate. I've seen a lot of times like AAB and AS and stuff like that. Write it out. Personal opinion. Don't just put the concentration unless that's specific to your certificate. So as I'm going through this peer review, yes, I'm looking at those names. So what I'm going to do next in the peer review process is, you see this link right here, link to POS. I'm going to go to that link and I'm going to compare the name you gave me to that link. Make sure you test those links. Make sure those links don't get changed. I've run into peer review situations where somebody put the link in there, I clicked on the link, and their IT department moved the stuff around, moved the page around, so I couldn't get to it. That slowed down the process. It was easily remedied, but as a peer reviewer, I'm going to look at each of those links. I have to. All right. Here is a link to the official course catalog. I'm going to do the exact same thing as a peer reviewer. I'm going to click on this link. I'm going to click on that link and it takes me to that particular catalog. I may have to update this because our catalogs change. This application, you see what happened. I wasn't expecting this, but when we did the application, it went to our 2023-2024 application. Well, we've updated it. So be real careful with those particular situations. Well, let's see the URL. Okay, so this one is safe. It's still going to the appropriate link and the requirements. So that's good. But you can see when we built the application, it was based upon 1 year's catalog, and then the application is still linking to that particular section. All right, department in which it's housed. That's the name of the department. Give the full department at Lakeland. It's Information Technologies and Computer Science. Has the curriculum been there for 3 or more years? Was it at least 3 years and 1 year of students? I'm going to, your peer reviewer, your mentor is going to verify this, because later on in the application, there's going to have to be an official letter from the administration saying these are our students and these are my graduation, the people that have graduated. We'll see that in another part of the application, but that's going to be verified. And then we're going to look at the deans. And yes, I'm going to go to the website, look at the deans, make sure that it's current. Again, when I filled out the application, our first application 2 years ago, we had a different dean. 3 years ago now, we had a different dean, right? So we're going to check on that. So just be aware that we live in a very dynamic world. And then there's the dean's, there is the dean's email. Now, here's the area that tends to get people not into trouble, but can, like a better word, almost gum up the works. Basically, your program of study, the maps, and your KUs list. You'll say list all the courses that are part of the POS curriculum map and plan, and all courses that are part of your KU alignment. We don't need to see general ed stuff. We don't need to see your Englishes and your math unless that's very specific to your particular degree. But we want to see the program of study curriculum. So we want to see the course name, course number, course name, and the description of the course. Go through them all. I personally just copied and pasted directly from our catalog to here. Now, here's the important part. Here's you want particular attention to. Not all of my program of study curriculum gets mapped to KUs. Completely acceptable. Actually, strong recommendation. The fewer the classes you need to map to your KUs, and we'll look at KU mapping in another video, another section, but the fewer courses that you map to your KUs, the easier it's going to be for you, and the easier it's going to be for your mentor and your peer reviewer. I think we can count them. We got, here's a course, here's a course, here's a course, here's a course. Finally, here's one that mapped to a KU. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? That's a pretty decent number. 4 to 5 is a decent number. It's really difficult. I haven't come across anybody, and be silly, I'm being silly here, that mapped an entire course to every KU. But I have seen, again, people map 8, 9 courses to the KU mapping, and there was a tremendous amount of overlap. And I wrote back to them, I said, hey, you're doing it, but you're doing too much work. Why don't you remove these 3 courses, because it's redundant. You've already mapped the KUs to there. And that's going to make more sense as we get to the KUs. But the fewer courses you can map to your KUs, the better. Trust me, you start getting 7, 8, 9 KUs, and there's probably a good chance that there's overlap. There's going to be there. 4 or 5, strong number. It's going to help your mentor. It's going to help your peer reviewer go through this, because we have to, and you'll see this in a bit, we have to download all those syllabuses, download all those labs, and verify, and then we have to go through the student transcripts. And if you have 9 courses mapped to a KU, all of a sudden we're looking at 9 syllabuses with 9 labs, and all the transcripts. We got to make sure that all those courses are in there. And then the second strong advice: do not do ORs. Avoid when we do the KU mapping, different videos, avoid, it could be this class or this class. You don't want ORs. You don't want a lot of classes. And then finally, if you have any, the curriculum sheet, not finally, I apologize for that. The curriculum sheet. I'm not going to show you the curriculum sheet. It just came from our thing, but notice my naming convention, and I'm going to bring this up in multiple videos. You'll notice that I named this, I named this 1A. That is the section. That's the application number. POS curriculum sheet. I named it after here. But more importantly, I called it 1A dot. I didn't do this on our first application. I saw this as a peer reviewer and I said, that's outstanding. Because what I need to do as a peer reviewer or as a mentor is I need to download that and I need to look at it. So I'm going to download that directly into the folder, or the folder structure from previous videos. The folder structure, there's a folder called 1A POS. Right? So I'm downloading that directly into a folder so it's all lining up. You'll notice that down here, justification. I named it 1A justification. I basically named it after the application section and the name. When I saw that when I was doing a peer review, it saved me incredible amounts of time because it's almost like a self-documentation. Now, I've also seen applications that don't have that. Please, if I'm working with you as a mentor, I'm going to strongly encourage you with that. If I'm working with, just giving people advice, things. So let's wrap some things up. Okay, couple key points in this regard. One is as you're working through the application, if there's anything that's associated with any kind of links, make sure you keep up with those links, that they're updated, because the peer reviewer and your mentors are going to double check those links, not just to pick what out of pepper, but we need to check on those links. We're going to make sure those links work. We're going to compare the name that you're providing with the name that is in your catalog, again, because that's going to be name on the certificate. Program of study, the curriculum, put all the curriculum in there with the exception of your general ed stuff. It's just the curriculum that would be associated with this particular program. And if there's one big giant takeaway from this video, keep the KU aligned courses to a minimum. 4, 5 is extremely manageable. If you think about it, as community college professors and programs, we probably have very similar curriculum. I can't tell you the number of Cisco courses I've seen, number of CompTIA courses I've seen, number of programming logic courses that are fundamentally the same, even though they're being taught at different community colleges. So keep your KU aligned courses to a minimum, 4 or 5. You start stretching that out, and I've seen applications that have stretched that out. It becomes arduous to peer review them, and a lot of times it's just really redundant material. So, and there was one more. Oh, the naming convention. Sorry, the naming convention. When you have to provide a PDF file, and you're going to be providing those throughout your application process, when you need to provide a PDF file, create a naming convention that is easy for you and easy for the reviewer. If it is in application section 1A and you're providing a PDF file, 1A dot the name of the file. And that's going to tell us as we're downloading these files as a mentor or as a peer reviewer, hey, this file goes to this folder. So later on, if you have to update that file, it becomes so much easier. And then you even begin to think that. So keep your KU aligned courses to a minimum, 4 or 5. Have a nice naming standard. Double check your links and things like that. So that being said, let's go and learn something.